Lance Hall here for Let's Discuss with Lance Hall. Happy to welcome Madison Hatter to the program tonight. Madison, how are you?
I'm great. How are you?
I am doing well. You have a new single out called Wild and Strange, video and everything. Cool tune,
Yes.
great video, and
Thank
some
you.
big time players on this. Tell us a little bit about how this all came about, how you got these different people hooked into this project.
Yeah, so I'm so excited to have Wild and Strange unleashed, and the song features Tyler Bryant, Frank Ferrer, Rob Bailey, and Brett Bass.
Yeah.
And they're just a great group of guys. I know Frank and Rob and Brett from a bunch of gigs that we've done together in the city. They kind of like play together under a different band name called Mule Kick, and they've had me up singing with them a bunch of times. And they're personal friends of mine. I'm so fortunate to have them be a part of this project. I'm so happy they were able to help me out with this. And then Tyler Bryant, I've been a big fan of his band Tyler Bryant and the Shakedown for a
Hmm.
while now. And I just thought that his whole aesthetic would really complement what Rob was already doing with the guitars and just like that bluesy kind of gritty uh, guitar sound. And it worked out really well. I reached out to him on social media to see if he'd be interested in joining us. And I was really excited when he responded, yeah, like send me the track and I'll check it out. I thought that was really cool of him because I don't really know him personally.
Yeah.
And for him to kind of respond that way to, pretty much a fan reaching out to
Hmm.
be like, will you please be part of my project? That was really cool. And I
Awesome.
love how it turned out. I'm really happy with how it sounds and how it feels. It's my first original song that I've released in a couple years, yeah, since having my son. So I
Right.
wanted to kind of come back kicking the door down.
Cool. Now, Rob also co-wrote and produced the track as well, correct?
He did, yeah.
Yeah.
He wrote the majority of the music. I wrote the majority of the lyrics and the melody.
Hmm.
And he had a heavy hand in arranging it. He mixed it. Yeah, he's the producer on that. He did a great job.
Now,
It's
what
really
what
cool to
came
work with him.
what came first, the lyrics or the music, or did it all sort of come together at the same time? Did you have a lyric, or did he have a lick, or how did
For
that
this
come about?
specific track, the music came first, kind of like the chord progression and the riff.
Mm-hmm.
And then we kind of built upon that. I had a really good idea of the vibe that I wanted and like the message, and the music really inspired a lot of the lyrics and the feel of it.
Okay. And Sleepless Pictures did the video. You filmed part of it at Amped Mixed Martial Arts Studio in Jersey.
Yes, I did. And that's
Yeah.
actually where I go to Muay Thai. I've been doing Muay Thai a couple times a week since having my son. And that was a big inspiration too. When I had my son, I wasn't sure, I've been performing all my life. And
Mhm.
then when my husband and I were ready to start a family, I didn't know what impact that would have on my ability to be performing.
Mm.
And I love performing. I find it to be an amazing creative outlet for me, and it makes me feel wild and strange. It makes me feel alive and free, and it's very empowering. But I didn't know, I really wanted to settle into the role of mom,
Right.
and I kind of came to find that being myself and doing what I love and having a creative outlet helps me to be a better mom.
Hmm.
And the whole Muay Thai thing came in after I had my son. I gained like 43 pounds when I was pregnant, and I'm 5 feet tall. So I gained almost like half my body weight when I was pregnant. Knock on wood, I had an amazing pregnancy. Like everything was normal, quote unquote. There was nothing crazy about it. But I was just feeling so uncomfortable physically. By the end of it, I couldn't even like sit in my car, buckle my seatbelt without like pain. I had like diastasis where your stomach muscles like rip. It sounds so metal, but they
Yeah.
basically like separate,
Oh,
and
yeah.
I had an amazing Pilates, prenatal Pilates teacher, Stacy, who helped me through that. But I was just craving movement. like my whole pregnancy. I was just craving being able to be free in my movement. I grew up dancing and was just missing being able to feel that freedom in my body. So when I was medically cleared to start working out again, I got really into Muay Thai. At first, it was to try to, get back to my pre-baby weight.
Yeah.
But I found when I was doing it that it was just so empowering. I felt so strong and capable, and like I could do anything,
Mhm.
and a lot of it too with like patterning, doing sequences over and over again.
Sure.
It's not like choreography, but in a way it is, because
Mhm.
we do it to music, and I could kind of just turn my brain off after like a
Right.
long day of being with an amazing baby, but a baby that takes a lot of work.
Oh yeah.
And they're long days, so
Mhm.
when like 7:30 rolled around, I would like blast my radio on the way to the studio, work out, get it all out, feel like an adrenaline rush, feel capable,
Mhm.
and then drive back home listening to music, or at that point like writing lyrics, because my brain was turned on in a creative way
Sure.
after that. And yeah, so that definitely influenced the song. I
Very
think that
cool.
was your question. I don't remember.
I
Sorry, that was a
well,
long answer.
no, I mean we were talking about where the video was shot and stuff, but no, it's a
Oh
great
yeah,
answer.
yes. I'm
Great
sorry.
answer. We got the full scoop of it.
Yes. So I obviously wanted to, give credit where credit was due.
Yeah.
And I still do Muay Thai a couple times a week. I feel like the whole empowering strength thing really has trickled into all aspects of my life. And I wanted to incorporate that into the video,
Mm,
kind of do like a full circle thing.
yeah. Now the guys in the gym who were those just people that happened to be there? Or those some extras, some friends for the
They're
video?
friends. I mean, they're friends of mine. They are the people that work out there, and the owner of the gym as well was in the video. It's a relatively small gym, which is
Mm-hmm.
awesome. It's like a really cool community. Everyone supports one another and knows one another.
Yeah.
So I've found that to be awesome. And I asked them if they would do me the favor of being in it. And everyone was really receptive of that and excited. And they've been open during the pandemic when, when they were allowed to be,
Yep.
and social distancing and masks and sanitizing everything.
Yeah.
It's so important to support small businesses during this whole thing. So, that was another reason why I wanted to have that be a part of it.
Absolutely. And then some of the outside shots I thought were kind of cool. They look like they were shot like maybe at a school or something.
Yeah, so that is actually Riker Hill Art Park
Okay.
in Livingston. I grew up in Livingston, New Jersey.
Right.
And when I was in high school, they called it the base, and it was where all the cool kids went. I never went there in high school. It was like the spot where kids would like hang out and like smoke. And
Mhm.
I would hear stories about it, but I never actually went. It seemed like this like scary place. And it actually is an abandoned missile base from the
Huh.
Cold War. And
Wow.
they had all of these like underground missiles like ready to launch if
Yeah.
God forbid something was coming towards New York, because Livingston's right outside of the city.
Mm-hmm.
And it's abandoned now. They actually turned it into this like art community. So all those buildings, they used to be, I don't know if like soldiers like used to live in there,
Mm,
like sleep in there, like keeping watch or whatever.
yeah.
But now there's all different artist studios.
Hmm.
But like the tower and all that stuff, that's part of, I don't know what part of the missile base, but it's part of it, and it's abandoned, but it's still up. There's like graffiti all over. It looks really cool.
Yeah.
And I actually remembered about that and made the connection with, ooh, it would be cool to do a video here. I was reading a Harlan Coben book, and he actually grew up in Livingston too. Do you know Harlan Coben?
Yeah. I know the name. I might have read one of his books. I know I've
He's
seen it.
awesome. I love
Yeah.
reading his books. They're like thrillers, and you
Mhm.
just fly through them. But he grew up in my town, so it's funny. He references a lot of different landmarks that I'm familiar with because like I grew up there too. And
Yeah.
one of his books kind of centers around the base. And I read it, it was like, ooh, that would be a great spot to
Yeah.
do a music video.
Yeah, it was very cool. Now tell us a little bit about the makeup towards the end. I mean, there's an obvious Joker vibe here with the makeup. Is that what you were going for, or did you have something else in mind with it?
Yeah, I was inspired by the Joker. I
Okay.
took a little, creative, artistic freedom with that. I love playing different characters in my videos, and there was a video I did a few videos back where I'm just kind of like this insane mental patient, and I wanted
Mm,
to get specific with it. And I saw the most recent Joker movie, and it
yeah.
really moved me. I love movies that humanize villains. I think
Yeah.
that that's really cool.
Hmm.
Um, where you can like almost see a little bit of yourself in somebody that you wouldn't ordinarily see. I have an acting background, so I
Right.
I love
Right.
doing that sort of thing. And I thought it would be cool too with just like the colors and everything else that I had kind of set up for the video.
Cool. And you had a lot of fun with the smoke. I saw you put a post up about that.
Yes, smoky bombs. Yeah, I'm hoping that they retweet me. They have a lot of followers.
Yeah,
Us
absolutely.
independent artists, we've got to get creative with our marketing. But
Yeah.
no, the smoky bombs were really cool. I was nervous to use it because I'd never used it before, but
Mm,
it was like a piece of cake, and it photographs really, really well.
yeah.
They're relatively cheap. Like I don't know off the top of my head, I think like $20 or something, but
Mm.
you could do a whole music video just using smoky bombs.
Huh. Very cool. Now you've talked about growing up in Livingston, New Jersey. I did a little bit of research on Livingston. Amazing
Oh,
place. It sounded like for arts. I mean, you've got the Livingston Symphony Orchestra, the Livingston Community Players, the New Jersey Ballet.
yes.
You yourself, from a young age, where you played piano, flute, violin, choral groups. You did music theory, AP music theory.
How do
Um,
you know that? That's amazing.
and look this all up. I do my research.
Oh my gosh, that's good
So
for
you've
you.
got like a solid musical background. You've also, I read you've been keeping journals since you were like a sophomore in high school.
Yes.
And
Yep.
your
Told
total
you that.
inspiration with writing and lyrics was the 80s cartoon Gem and the Holograms.
I love Gem and the Holograms. I stand by that
Yeah.
statement. I
Yeah.
love them. Yeah. Growing
So,
up in Livingston was
yeah.
great also because it was so close to the city.
Hmm. Yeah. So, I mean, tell us a little bit, obviously from like day one, then you've been bitten by, obviously a music, an acting, a dancing, a writing. You're like the total package. Is there one that takes precedent over another, or do you try and sort of blend them all together?
I try to blend them all together at this point in my life. There were different periods of my life where acting was like number one, and then other points where it was dance and then singing. I would say singing is still right now my number one. I love it, and I love writing music and then performing my own music. I grew up as a child actor and going in and out of the city every day. I did a Broadway show before I even went to high school, and that was mainly acting. I love acting though too. Like I miss it. And then with dance, you mentioned New Jersey School of Ballet. There were a few years where I was in an intensive ballet program where, like during the summers, instead of hanging out with my friends, going to the pool, whatever, I would be taking ballet classes from the morning till dinner time every
Mm,
day. So I love all of
yeah.
it. But the thing that really resonates with my soul would be singing and performing. And I always, dance around the stage
Hmm.
when I'm performing, and I bring my acting background to it as well.
Yeah. I mean, I read this, the other thing that impressed me, because people don't realize how much work goes into getting ready for a lot of this stuff, whether you're in a play or a musical or a band or anything like that. I think I read somewhere you played young Kim in Hal Prince's revival of Showboat at the Gershwin Theater, and you did every show of a 3-year run.
Yes, I never missed a show.
Must have been grueling.
It was, but it didn't feel that way at the time. I
Yeah,
was obsessed with it. I loved it. I looked forward to every single performance.
that's very cool. Very cool. And then of course you got into 80s hair metal.
Yes, I love it. My guilty pleasure. I love it so much. I was actually talking about this yesterday. Um, did you ever see Rock of Ages on Broadway?
I did not see that one, no.
I saw
I mean,
it,
I saw commercials and stuff, but
right. I loved it. I saw it 4 times, and that
mm,
was that opened up a whole can of worms for me in a good way. I was
yeah,
just like, this music is phenomenal. And I think seeing it in that atmosphere as well, seeing like the whole story that went with the songs was really cool
yeah,
for me. And then also randomly, so we lived out in LA for a while, and when we moved back to New Jersey, um, we drove across country.
hmm,
We were listening to satellite radio,
right.
specifically Sirius channel 39 Hair Nation,
There
and
you go.
also 38 Ozzy's Boneyard. But
Yes.
so we were listening to that because it was like when you're driving, a long distance, if you're listening to terrestrial radio, the signal goes out a lot of the
Right.
time, and then you have to find a new station. So for that trip, we were kind of just keeping it easy, keeping it on Sirius.
Yeah.
And I was listening to Hair Nation kind of like a week straight, and I just loved every single song that was coming on there. And of course, that's all like hair metal. So I was
Yeah.
making note of all the different bands and going on iTunes and buying their music, and it just stuck with me. I loved it.
Who are some of your favorites from that era?
I love Cinderella
Mm,
and Kicks. I
yeah.
love Kicks. They're so underrated.
Yes.
There's so many of them. I love Faster Pussycat.
Mm.
Really all of them. There's like I was listening to one song today that I hadn't heard in a while, by Hardline,
Okay,
Hot
Hot
Cherry.
Cherry.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
love that song.
Yeah.
I love like I love that music because I love it when it kind of like sneaks up on me if I'm like not expecting it, because I listen to my music on shuffle,
Right.
and
Right.
one of those songs just it's just like an instant party.
Mhm. Mhm.
I like the spirit of it.
Well, I will date myself for you, Madison. I was there for it all. I'm a little bit older. I saw Def Leppard on the Pyromania tour.
Nice.
Poison opened up for David Lee Roth. But actually, Poison opened up
Oh,
for
wow.
Rat on their first album. Rat was doing Dancing Undercover.
That's awesome.
Cinderella, Tom Kiefer. I actually saw Tom Kiefer in a small club up here in Vermont a few years ago. It was awesome.
Oh,
Um,
where?
in Burlington, Vermont. The club is closed
Nice.
now, but he came up, and it was a lot of fun. You
Very cool.
name the '80s hair bands, and I was there for a lot of them. Motley Crue on Theater of Pain. I saw Kicks open up for Whitesnake.
Nice.
Yeah, phenomenal stuff, and it's fun. You look back on that era, and the one thing I say when I talk about a lot of it is we had so much fun. It was just fun. So
That's exactly what I would imagine it to be going to those concerts. I'm jealous. I mean, a lot of those bands are still touring and playing now. I've opened for a couple of
right.
them, and I mean, I feel so honored. They're like legends. And it
Yeah.
is like it's fun, it's a rush of adrenaline. It's feel
Yeah.
good music, and I love that.
I was gonna say you've done a lot of shows like at the Whiskey. I saw where you opened up for like, what was it, Winger? I
Yeah, I
remember.
opened up for Winger a few years ago.
Yeah.
I've done a lot of shows at the Whiskey. I love that place.
Yeah. Wow. What's the difference? I mean, growing up in Jersey and then going out on the West Coast to say the Whiskey, what's the difference between playing the East and the West Coast?
That's a good question. I think there's a whole I mean there's scenes here, but there's a very specific scene on the Sunset Strip which I love.
Mhm.
And that strip where it's like the whiskey's here and the rainbow is here, and you can walk from it, and they always have cool events and concerts and lineups going on
Yeah.
there. And a lot of my music is inspired by that
Mhm.
scene and like those bands. So one of the reasons why I play a bunch of shows at the Whiskey is because that scene there has just been so receptive to my music. I'll go out there and I'll open for a big act, and everyone's in the venue, and then they hear my music, and then they come over to me, and then they start following me, and we follow each other on social media. Then they come to my next show, which is pretty awesome. And here in New Jersey, there's some amazing scenes as well. But I feel like with the West Coast, specifically the Sunset Strip, that scene's already like locked in and ready,
Yeah.
which is cool.
Yeah, and as we're sitting here talking about that, and I'm hearing you describe it, it sort of came to me, your music, particularly the song and stuff, has sort of a West Coast vibe to it. If there is that, I think there's that type of sound. You can always sort of tell East Coast, West Coast stuff, I think.
Yeah.
And your
I
stuff definitely has a West Coast vibe to it.
There's definitely some influences in there. I went to college out in LA. I went to UCLA, and I stayed out in LA for a couple years after that. So I grew up in New Jersey, and I live here now. But there's a little piece of me that, kind of aligns with LA and everything going on out there.
Yeah. We'll talk about your website for a sec, www.madisonhatter.com. Some very cool stuff on that. You full hands-on in that as well?
Yes, I do all my social media, my website, my merch, my everything.
You are the chief cook and bottle washer, as they say.
Yes, I love it.
Literally with a young son.
Yes. The laundry person as well.
There you go. I thought I saw somewhere a next release is coming out on May 21st. Are we going to get another single from you? And I'm not trying to rush you. This one just came out, but I got to ask.
Yeah, I can't wait. The next one, as you said, May 21st, it's a single. It's a song called Treasure, and it's a soaring ballad. I'm really, really excited to share this with everybody.
And is there going to be a video for that one as well?
Yes, I have a music video for that. That video I actually shot out in LA. I was out there opening for Lita Ford, and was so excited to fit in a video shoot and a photo shoot while I was out there as well. There's this place in LA called Ragdoll Pink Palace, which I'm kind of obsessed with.
Okay.
When you see the video, you'll know why. Just the interior design is like down the rabbit hole, out of this world. So over the top and fabulous and amazing. And I had been wanting to shoot there for a while. And there's a great photographer out there as well who's been to a couple of my shows. His name is Jack Liu.
Okay.
And he is a legend on the Sunset Strip. He has shot everybody for decades. And I've always wanted to do a photo shoot with him. So I was so excited when he agreed to do a shoot the day after my show.
Very
and
cool.
That was on the set of Treasure.
Nice. Now you're name dropping people. You're making me jealous. Lita
No.
Ford, Winger, all this stuff. So, pretty good stuff. So that's very cool. So you're releasing singles now. Is there a full length coming down the line, or are you just going to stick with the singles?
For right now, I'm sticking with the singles. I think the plan is, we have a few more songs in our pocket that we're excited to share with everybody. And I think maybe in a few months we'll do an EP with some like bonus material. So maybe a couple more singles, and then we'll kind of package it all together with some extra stuff as an EP.
Cool.
Yeah, it's just more manageable as an independent artist right now, especially releasing stuff digitally on streaming platforms and stuff. Singles just makes a little more sense. And then I can do a music video for each one and kind of draw your full attention to this song, and then draw your full attention to this next song.
Very cool. Now, as an independent, how did you ride out and continue to ride out this challenging time that we're all in? It's been over a year now with this pandemic going on and things shutting down and things opening up and shutting down. How have you managed to cope? What have you done?
I mean, I can't wait to go to a live show. I can't wait to be an audience member at a live show. I'm missing it so much. But I mean, I never relied on my music to, pay my bills. So I haven't been hurting in a way that a lot of people have. I'm a stay-at-home mom. So I've been focusing on making my 3-year-old happy and not bored, and spending this extra family time with him, which has been awesome.
Yes.
It was also great to finish this material that we've been working on for a while and release it, and get all the merch stuff and the promotion stuff organized for that.
Mm.
I taught myself Final Cut Pro, which was really exciting.
Yes.
I edited together a couple live performances from that show that I just mentioned at the
Mm.
Whiskey, and put that up on my YouTube. And also edited together the lyric video for Wild and Strange. Sleepless Pictures, who you mentioned before, they're phenomenal. I've worked with them on a few videos now, and they gave me all of the B-roll footage, and there's a ton of footage. It's all
Mm.
amazing because they're amazing.
Right.
And I went through it and found some cool footage to use for the lyric video, and then also all of these kind of extra, um, not sponsorship videos, because it's like I'm not working with these companies, but like Smoky Bombs kind of doing a video that features them in the hopes that maybe they'll share it on
Right.
their social media. And I have a couple more that are like that, but for other facets of the video that'll be coming out as well. So I've
Cool.
been busy.
That and that's the cool thing about being an independent like that, especially in today's world with social media, whereas back in the day, you had to rely on the labels and the
Yeah.
radio and all that. Nowadays, you can put something out, like you say, if you could get Smoky Bombs to retweet, if you can get the right swipe on a TikTok, things
Yeah.
can just explode, and it must be an amazing time, to be an artist.
It is. It's amazing, but it's also maddening because it's like,
Yes.
oh, if this one thing could line up, you know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
But it's so freeing and amazing to have an idea, be able to execute it on your own, or with like a really great team of
Right.
people that you have direct contact with, and then just let it fly free. I think that that's awesome, and I'm really at this point doing all of my music stuff for myself. It makes me happy, and I love sharing it with people too. But I mean, I don't have like super huge goals in mind.
Mm.
It makes me happy just to be making things and then
Yep.
sharing them. So I like to be able to directly do that.
Yeah. Chatting with Madison Hatter here for Let's Discuss with Lance Hall, her new single Wild and Strange out now. Where did the name Madison Hatter come from?
Um, a couple places. So I love Alice in Wonderland,
Okay, I thought
and
that would be the obvious.
yes, I love the Mad Hatter.
Yeah.
And I thought that that would be a really cool, catchy name. And then the longer version of that is I love Aerosmith, and
Mm.
love Aerosmith is kind of like an understatement. I'm like obsessed with Aerosmith. And I have a really cool Aerosmith story. I went to a concert out in LA at the Staples Center
Mm.
to see Aerosmith, and I was way in the back for the whole concert.
Mhm.
And I had been to a couple shows on this specific tour. So I knew there was a point in the encore where Steven Tyler kind of like goes side stage to like both sides of the stage. He kind of like stuck with that choreography each time
Mm.
I had seen the show, like totally obsessed. So I wait for the encore to start, and I kind of just like race down to the front row
Mm.
on the side of the stage. It's not on the stage, but like the first row of seats,
Yeah.
the side stage. And this couple, they were so nice. And I'm actually friends with the one lady on social media. Today she's come to one of my Madison Hatter concerts. They were so nice. They kind of like scooched over and let me stand with them.
Yeah.
And if they hadn't done that, like one of the ushers would have thrown me out for sure.
Right.
But so I was right there. I was so excited. And I was wearing this hat, which like totally wasn't planned. It was just part of my outfit. I was wearing this like fedora.
Yeah.
And Steven Tyler saw the hat, and he kind of like beelined over and grabbed the hat off my head. And I'm like dying at this point, like
Oh, wow.
not alive. Grabbed the hat, put it on his head, and did all of Back in the Saddle wearing
Oh,
my
wow.
hat. And then at the end of the song, instead of throwing it out into the audience, like I've seen him do a bunch of times. He came back over and put it on my head. So
Oh,
I
that's awesome.
had the hat that he wore. And like, if you know the level of my obsession, like you know that that's like a huge, amazing, meaningful gesture.
Yeah.
And like,
Yeah.
I still have the hat today. It's like on a shrine.
That's once in a
So
lifetime, you know?
yes, it totally, and I took it as like a sign, to keep going. I was just starting to like think about recording my own music at that point.
Cool.
And the whole hat thing, I was like, I like Alice in Wonderland, I like Mad Hatter. This whole hat experience happened. I have this hat.
Yeah.
Let's work with that.
That's awesome. Do you remember which album they were touring when you saw them for that show?
I feel like it must have been. That's a good question. I feel like it was the one that had Devil's Got a New Disguise on it. I think it was like it was like a best of album, that
Okay.
like double best
Yeah.
of. And then there were like two, like Sedona Sunrise was on that one. But everything else was re-releases pretty much.
Wow. I saw those
Lenny Kravitz
guys.
was touring with them at that point. Sorry,
Who
go
was,
on.
no, wait, I missed that. Who was touring with him?
Lenny Kravitz.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was a great show.
Yeah. I saw those guys Halloween night 1987 in Providence, Rhode Island. It was a permanent vacation tour with
Oh my God.
Dokken opening.
Nice.
Yeah.
You win. That's amazing.
No. But Steven Tyler didn't wear my hat that night.
True.
Very cool.
I love that album though. Permanent Vacation's a great album.
Yeah, great album. Madison, I always like to wind up with just some fun, silly questions. I'm hoping these are questions maybe you've never been asked before.
Okay, cool.
And I just got this new book yesterday called 3001 Questions All About Me. So it's 3001 questions. I opened up to a random page.
Oh boy.
And the first question that jumped out at me is, do I like interviews? Do you like interviews?
Yeah, I do. I think it's a cool way to, have a conversation with somebody about something that you care about.
Yeah. It was just the first one I looked at was, do I like interviews?
That's so funny.
Yeah. What do you do when you know someone well?
I mean, there's so many things.
How about one thing?
When I know somebody well,
Yeah.
I don't know. I like to share music picks. Like if I've discovered a new song or new artist that I'm really into, I like to let it be known to anybody who I know well that will listen.
Very cool. Let's see. If you could blink and appear anywhere in the world, where would you choose to go?
The address is 100 Madonna Road, San Luis Obispo, California.
Okay.
It's a place called Madonna Inn, and I'm just as obsessed with Madonna Inn as I am with Aerosmith, but it's a place. It's this amazing hotel that has over 100 different rooms, and every single room has like its own over the top theme. Some of the rooms have like sequin glitter wallpaper, and then they have like a jungle room. And they also have this amazing steakhouse. It's the best steak I've ever had in my life. But the steakhouse, it's like fine dining on acid. It's hot tank. It's amazing. Hot tank steakhouse, amazing filet mignon with like rice pilaf. Wow. And they have their own wine there. They have like horseback riding. They have a spa. They have a pool. They need to hire me as their megaphone. I love them.
Perfect. If you could pick a television show to have one of your songs placed in, what TV show would you pick?
Ooh, that's a good one. There's one TV show that I haven't actually started watching yet. Castle Rock. That's based on Stephen King stuff. I love Stephen King. I've gotten really into him over the past year. Just like reading a ton of books during the pandemic. Right. And I feel like, so I have to watch the TV show, obviously. And I'm excited. That's like on my immediate to-do list. But I just think his vibe would vibe with some of my music. And it would be really cool to see one of my songs in the background as his characters are interacting with each other.
Cool. Being a Jersey girl, this should be fun. Favorite old school wrestler? I'm assuming you were into wrestling,
Oh,
wrestling.
you know what's funny? I don't really
You don't?
know that much professional wrestling. My
Okay.
dad actually was a big wrestler growing up. Like wrestling, not like
Yeah.
WWE.
Right.
He actually would never watch that because he was like a wrestler and like a wrestling coach on like the high school and the college
Right.
level.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's like similar but very different. So I never really
Yes.
watched that. But as far as I can talk about UFC a little bit, which is similar.
Okay. Who's your favorite UFC?
UFC. I really like this fighter. His nickname is called The Damage. His name is Darren Elkins.
Okay.
And there was this one fight where he just kept getting creamed, like slammed. There was like blood everywhere. And it's like, how is he still going on? And he just kept getting back up. And I got like emotional watching it because it was like, he was just, getting hit left and right. And it was just amazing how he was able, and then he ended up winning the
Wow.
fight. It was amazing. It was like a movie moment.
Very cool. Last music you listened to other than your own?
That's a good question because I literally just finished putting together a Spotify playlist.
Right. I saw that. Yeah.
Oh, cool. Yeah, it's called Get Wild and Strange. And of course, I had to throw a couple of my own songs in there, but
Yep.
it's literally now it's like 17 hours of like hype music. It's all different genres.
Right.
And it's all songs that I really love, that I love working out to and listening to, working to. And there's a lot of AC/DC on there, some Rival Sons,
Yeah.
Dua Lipa. There's like a ton of stuff. Britney's on there,
Yep.
Aerosmith, all that.
I did see that. If you could go back in time and eat one of your mom's home cooked meals from your childhood, what would you have her fix?
Ooh, I love her meatloaf.
Okay. Last one, and this is the one we have the most fun with. If they were to make a movie of your life, what actress would you have play you in the movie? And it's your movie, your life. You can pick anybody.
Ah, that's cool. I think okay, so I would pick Evan Rachel Wood.
Okay.
For a couple reasons. I feel like she's very gritty but also goofy, and I see that in myself as well. And then also I've gotten from a few different people over the years that I kind of resemble her a little bit. So I think that that's a good fit. And she
Very cool.
sings too.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. So there you go. Gritty and goofy. I like that.
Yeah, it's all about the balance of gritty and goofy.
Yeah, absolutely. Madison, is there anything that we haven't talked about, a question I haven't asked you, something you wanted to maybe promote that I didn't give you a chance to? The floor is yours for the moment.
No, I mean, this has been awesome. Thank you so much for having me. You have been very thorough and covered everything. I would just re-emphasize, my new song Wild and Strange is out on all digital and streaming platforms. There's merch on my website. You've already mentioned my website, madisonhatter.com.
Yep.
I love using social media. I'm very active on my social media platforms. So feel free to give me a follow and be my friend. And subscribe to my YouTube. The music video for Wild and Strange is just that. It's very strange and wild and fun. So check it out.
Cool stuff. Madison, thank you very much for your time tonight. Continue to carve out time for that 3-year-old. As a father of 4, ages 12 through 19, I can tell you it goes by incredibly fast.
I bet. That's amazing. That's
Speed
so
of
cool.
light
It's so
fast.
cool that you're doing this too. You have this platform. I'm sure this is your passion.
Right. Like you have the music, I have this, and the family totally supports me on this and
That's
everything. And it's very
amazing.
cool. But you definitely carve out the time. It goes by light speed fast.
Absolutely. Yes, he is my number one priority.
Awesome.
I'm obsessed with him. I love him.
Excellent. Madison Hatter, once again, the new single is Wild and Strange. Check it out. Enjoy the rest of your day, and hopefully we chat again soon.
Thank you so much. Have a good day.
Take care.
Bye.